Hey everyone, Griffin here. I know I haven't made a video in like a month or something because I haven't had access to internet or whatever. However, I did gain access to it at the start of MSI, which is pretty nice, but I didn't find a time to really make a video on what I wanted to talk about. But today, after kind of watching both of the Rumble stages, I have noticed a trend both on other people and for myself, which is that this MSI this year, 2021, has felt incredibly underwhelming. It has felt really boring to a lot of people, including myself. And I kind of wanted to explore the idea of why that is. So the first thing that's kind of like obvious that I'm gonna get out of the way is the fact that the VCS hasn't been able to join MSI this year due to their strict COVID regulations that like some travel thing. I don't know. Like they can't go anywhere basically. Um, so GAM wasn't really able to come to the MSI, which made kind of the format is really fucked because of it. In the sense that um, there were like four groups, and the fourth group had RNG and two wildcard regions. Two, mind you, very bad wildcard regions. Now, I'm not one to kind of shit talk teams or whatever like that, but I'm not gonna lie, like, let's be real. Pentanet and Unicorns of Love have been really underwhelming, like, incredibly so. Um, and the only reason why I think Pentanet has been able to get out of group stage was because VCS wasn't present in their group. But that brings me to my first point, which is the formatting. I think the format this year has been especially tiring to the viewer, and I can imagine how it was to the players, especially in the first or fourth group. I'm not really sure how you put that up, but like the RNG group, right? Especially to the RNG group, with Pentana GG and Unicorns of Love having to play like uh, every other game every day, right? Like they had literally an entire day dedicated to just that group playing, and it was so obvious that RNG was gonna stomp everybody that I personally didn't even watch that day because I just couldn't bring myself to watch the I don't know something like clicked in my mind like I cannot watch this. Like there's just no way I'm gonna get bored out of my mind and I'm not really gonna learn anything or do anything with this information. So I just didn't even watch that entire day. I did watch like two games from that day. Incredibly boring. I wish that I didn't. I wish I could take like 35 minutes of like no, it wasn't even 35 minutes. 35 minutes each for both of those videos or games. I wish I could take that time back. I'm like, oh, I fucking can't, dude. But yeah, so anyway, uh, that brings me to my second point, which is the games have been absolutely exhaustingly trivial in their gameplay. Um, for example, the first game that I kind of want to look at today is a game between Mad Lions and Damwon Kia. Now, Cloud9 have beat Damwon Kia, right? Damwon Kia are not like these gods that everybody thought they were, right? Or that at least most people thought they were. They can bleed and they can be beaten, but I mean, it's not really exciting to watch when you know that like there really isn't a way that Mad Lions are gonna beat Damwon Kia without like a good composition. And then you look at this composition and you're like, well, I mean, Damwon Kia have a pretty fucked composition. Maybe Mad Lions can win, but then you see Armut and Lee Sin, and you're like, all right. Anyway, that brings me to my third point: the drafts. The drafts have been god awful this MSI in the sense that they've been so stale, so samey. You see the same champs every fucking game. It's Victor, Rumble, Lee Sin, Udyr, Morgana, Kaisa, Nautilus, Zaya, Rakan, Leona. It's like borderline like 15 to 20 champions have been played like consistently. We did see like, but again, it's from Pentanet. We did see Zed. We did see Kiana. We saw Lissandra once against the Kiana, which was pretty cool. We saw Samira in the first stage and then never saw her again because teams realized that she kind of sucks. Varus has been fucking perma banned. Kog'Maw, nobody has been picking Kog'Maw except for Cloud9 for some reason. Um, so like I really don't know what to say when it's like Victor, Zoe, okay, and then Orianna is banned, and then Lucian sometimes, right? And it's like these four champions and Silas maybe sometimes, and usually in very bad places for some reason. I don't understand that. Um, it's usually these like five champions or four champions, and then maybe throw one in for flavor every fucking game, right? And it's so crazy to me because I can't comprehend watching Kaisa and Zaya in every single game because unless the Zaya player is so much better than the Kaisa player, the Zaya player is going to lose lane. Or the Zaya player. Did I say the Zaya? I don't know. The Zaya player is going to lose lane because Zaya cannot win lane very well, right? Like, unless the enemy fucks up, Zaya does not win lane except for some very niche matchups, like, for example, Lucian, right? She can win lane against Lucian. It's hard, but it's possible. Second of all, most players that play Zaya don't even understand why Zaya should be played and in what positions. Zaya is a very positioning intense champion. Sorry about that. And a lot of people do not know how to play that. They do not know how to play positioning very well. This is the reason why champions like Nar and Lee Sin have been prominent for so long. Because they abuse the fact that the enemy cannot position well. And they abuse it very well. But if the enemy can't position, then the champ is borderline dog shit. But the thing is, a lot of these teams have no idea how to position. Damwon Kia is like a stark example of sometimes we know, sometimes we don't. It's like Showmaker, I think, has some of the best positioning and positioning awareness in the entire world, right? When it comes to the game. Some of the best positioning awareness that I've ever seen. Ghost has some days where he has no idea how to position, and some days where he just positions so fucking well that you can literally never win because you're never going to be able to hit him with anything because he's that much of a god at positioning that, right? But it's inconsistent. But with Showmaker, it's incredibly consistent, and I have not seen a single game where he has like thrown because of his bad positioning. In fact, it's usually the opposite. It's most of the time it's the opposite. It's Showmaker that's like doing something and then the entirety of his team just fucks up their positioning. They all die and Showmaker is like, well, fuck my life, right? Khan has also been very underwhelming this game as well, or this MSI, but that's besides the point. This is the thing. I want to talk about kind of why has this been overwhelming. So let's get into my first reason, which I already mentioned before, the formatting. I think the formatting sucks. I very much dislike it. I hate the four group thing. I don't understand why it has to happen. I think you can literally just do what they did in the second Rumble stage and just make it go on for like 2 weeks, right? And then after those 2 weeks, you go into the third Rumble stage with quarterfinals instead of semifinals. So not only are you prolonging the event, which is, by the way, a good thing because of profit, not only are you prolonging the event, what you're also doing is you're letting the teams naturally kind of take hold of one another, right? You don't have to have two fucking wildcard teams that literally cannot play the game, not because they're bad or because they're dog shit or whatever. No, because they don't have any experience. The CB LOL and the fucking bootleg Oceania region that doesn't exist anymore because Riot fucking canceled it. How do they get genuine practice against teams of higher caliber when their regions are dog and they get to play only one team at an international event? Tell me how. Like, look at it to Nation Focus Me. The thing is, the LJL consistently plays within Korea, right? The LJL pro players, I mean, play consistently in Korea. So they already have some international like knowledge of how to play the game. And then they come to the tournament and they get so close to beating Damwon Kia. They beat Cloud9. This is how you, like, yes, they didn't get out of play-ins, right? But the thing is, they don't have to. because this is international success, genuinely. This is experience. This is what's going to propel them into world stage, because they're most likely going to make worlds. This is going to be what's going to help them um, have a better understanding of how to fight teams at worlds. But Pentanet GG and UOL, they're not going to get any experience from this, because the only reason why they got out of play-ins in the first place, why Pentanet got out of the got to get out of play-ins in the first place, was because they had two teams against each other, one of which was wildcard region, and the second which was a major region that is actually one of the teams that is favored to win the entire thing, RNG. And then they get out of play-ins barely. Barely. They have to fight tooth and nail against the other wildcard team to barely make it out. And then they get absolutely fucking demolished. They get one game, right? Like, they got one game, and it was... They shouldn't have gotten that game, let's be real. Like, I can't believe that happened still. But regardless, like, the formatting is so terrible. Like, if you're going to do this... right? If you're going to do something like this, why not just make it the entire, like, all of the teams, because you don't have that many teams, right? It's just 4 groups, so, like, 4, 12, 15 teams. It's 15 teams. Just make them fight, like, do a one round robin or something. Or maybe you can do a double round robin. Like, the actual event has enough days, I think, for this to be possible. Now, I'm not being paid to do this, and I'm not sure how well it would be implemented, but like I think it would be much better to implement that than whatever the fuck this was. It was incredibly boring, incredibly tiring to watch two major region teams fight two teams that literally cannot fight them because they don't have any experience playing internationally, and the only way they ever win is, you know, by just sheer force, right? Like, they don't, like, the thing is, these wildcard teams, they don't get to play the game like DK do. They don't get to play the game like RNG do, like Mad do. No, they have to give, like, their all, their entire fucking psyche has to go into this, because they don't know how to play macro, because they're not skilled enough to play micro, because they don't play against players skilled enough to be able to utilize it and thus train themselves. You understand what I mean, right? Which goes on to the second point, or, well, I'm actually going to turn him around. It goes on to the third point, which is draft. Now, I'm going to show you a game where draft is actually really nice, I personally really enjoyed the draft of this one game, but it's going to be at the end. So, draft has been incredibly stale and boring. The thing is, it doesn't have to be like that. I am one of the people that are very much insistent on, like, there not having to be so little champions in the actual meta. Like, I think a lot of champions are currently viable, but nobody wants to play them because they're scared that because they're, one, either scared they're going to pop out of the meta, or two, because they just don't like the champion. And they're much more comfortable in just playing the same fucking matchup every game, right? And I hate that. I hate that so much. I hate it when I have to watch Victor versus Zoe or Victor versus Lucian every single fucking game. I hate having to watch Zaya versus Kaisa, fucking, I don't know what was even played, or Varus against anything, right? And by anything, I mean Kaisa or Zaya, right? Because there's no other ADC being played. We saw Kog'Maw, we saw Ashe. I don't know in the second Rumble stage if we've seen any other AD carry except for Kaisa, Zaya, and Varus. Except for, obviously, the one-offs of the Ashe and the Kog'Maw, which was also played in mid lane. And then jungle matchup is Morgana, Woody, Rumble. Notice how Nidalee has kind of boop, disappeared from the jungle. Just notice it a bit, like poof, just gone. It's Rumble, Woody, Morgana, Rumble, Woody, Morgana, Rumble, Woody, Morgana, Rumble, Woody, Morgana. There's no fucking variation. There's no Hecarim even. Like there aren't 4 champions anymore. There are only 3. It's Rumble more Goodyear or you lose. Yes, we've seen Olaf. Fuck Olaf. Fuck Olaf so fucking hard. I hate that champion. It is so useless. But it doesn't matter, right? Again, it's a one-off. Just like the Kog'Maw mid lane, just like the Kog'Maw AD carry. It's a one-off, right? As well as the fucking Aatrox in the top lane. However, I will say that I think the top lane is the most varied role. We've seen a lot of things. We've seen Lee Sin, which I think is a good champion. We've seen Jace. We've seen Sion. We've seen Gnar. We've seen Aatrox here in this game. We've seen Karma. What else have we seen? I think we've seen another champion, but I can't remember which one it was. We've seen Yorick, but, you know, Yorick, right? Regardless, let's get into the third reason, and that's going to be the gameplay. Now, the first thing, the reason why I've pulled up this game, specifically, is because I see Armut and Lee Sin. Now, Armut, I don't know. This guy, in my opinion, is very inconsistent. He's a very good Wukong player, but that's about where I draw the line. He's a good player, of course. Like, he's obviously a good player, don't get me wrong. But I'm not sure how much he understands his own champions that he's playing. Like, if you're playing Lee Sin, it's really not that hard to understand that with your passive, whenever you throw out an ability and you auto attack something, you gain energy back twice, right? You have 2 auto attacks where you gain energy back. This guy has consistently been low on energy, either having the enemy in kill range or just barely missing the energy for any kind of poke or anything like that. Many a times has this happened where he could have just auto-attacked a minion next to him or auto-attacked his opponent to be able to gain energy for an ability, but he has not done it. He would literally stand still, and wait for his energy to come back so he can cast Q, even though he has passive up, instead of hitting the fucking minion next to him so that he gets it faster so that he can immediately throw it. This is just one of the things he does very wrong. Let's look at another thing that he does very wrong. If you're playing Lee Sin, you need to have balls. I'm fucking saying it right now. You cannot play this champion without balls. This is a very risky champion. You have to play it like you are the fucking man of the house, okay? You have to play it like you're wearing the big boy pants when you're playing Lee Sin, all right? You have to make plays, and you have to understand your own champion's damage and energy output, which he fails to show in this clip that I'm going to show you here, which immediately causes them to lose the game. And that's why I wanted to show this clip as well, and why I have a couple of clips prepared as well. A lot of the games at MSI have been ending before 10 minutes. Or even if not 10 minutes, 15 minutes for sure. They are gone. Like, the games are just, you see something happen and the game is over and you know it's over. In very niche cases, has that not been the case? Like in the last game that I'm going to show you. And I think the second to last game? I don't know. But I'm going to tell you when. But it's very niche cases. However, this is in one of those niche cases. Let's look at this, what happens here. So, Rumble right here really wants this Cuddle Crab. He sees the Udyr with his red lens, yet he goes in to face check the bush. Walk with me here. Here is Rumble activating his Oracle lens. Lens? What the fuck? Oracle lens. He walks towards the bush, sees the outskirt of Udyr, and he's like, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna go in. Hey, forget about it. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Like, you just walked into the Udyr for no fucking reason. And, oops, sorry. And you might be thinking, well, Lee Sin has priority. I don't think that Lee Sin could ever make it, even if he wanted to, from his top lane all to here in a millisecond. oh, but he didn't know that Showmaker was gonna TP. What? How? How did he not know, dude? Yeah, Showmaker's just totally gonna let this guy live. But even if he didn't have TP, if you see the Udyr, you cannot, you literally, legitimately, you were almost soloed by Udyr. You cannot contest this. Back off. Where are you looking? Why do you activate your Oracle Lens? You're going into unknown territory and you're using F keys. I understand using F keys. It's a good fucking tactic. But you don't do it when you're going into unknown territory using your Oracle Lens exactly because you're doing so. Or were you just not paying attention to the red glowing Udyr outline in the bush that you saw because of your Oracle Lens? You were just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna walk in. And he almost dies, has the flash. Now he has no HP, so he cannot come back into the commencing fight. He doesn't know even what to do here. Look, he keeps like walking like this, like over this. He wants to go here so he can pick this up, but then he just keeps walking for no, what are you doing? Oh yeah. Oh, he wanted to get the Scryer's plant. Right. Because we don't know where Aatrox is because he was just top lane. Or maybe the Nautilus and Kai'Sa are gonna teleport. Like, just randomly teleport into the red side jungle. We see the Scuttle Crab. We see Udyr. We see Zoe. What the fuck else do you want to see, bro? Why are we hitting this? What the fuck? Hello? And then here, Kennen really messes up. Canyon should not be in this position. But he is. Oh, what are you doing? What are you fucking doing? Like, I get it. He thought that he was in execute range. But it doesn't fucking matter. Why not just... He doesn't have flash. He literally cannot get away from you, okay? He cannot. It's impossible. You know that, right? So why not let the Victor ulti deal its damage and then kick him to kill him? No. You're going to kick him out of the ulti just because there's a small marginal chance that the Udyr may survive. Guess what? The Udyr fucking survives. And then, BOW! You missed the fucking Q. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Okay, and then what happens? I'm sure Mad Lions definitely didn't cross too much of territory to the point where now they can't really get away. Oh wait, here comes Aatrox, and Elyoya is doing the fucking Scuttle Crab because he doesn't have level 6. So Humanoid's like, well, I'm fucking boned. I'm just boned. That's just it for me. I am not alive. And Armlet is like, yeah, I'm gonna save you last second, bro. And, oh wait, no you cannot. You literally cannot. It's impossible. Boom, game over. Now you might think I'm over exaggerating, but no, this is game over. Look at the waves. Look at Udyr CS and look at Rumbles. Udyr is gonna go back now with, oh wait, he didn't get an assist, I'm stupid. Okay, never mind. It doesn't matter still, because Aatrox is 101, Zoe is 101. Yes, Zoe kind of made a mistake by buying Merc Treads, but it doesn't matter. At this point, the advantage is way too large. And now, Mad Lions could theoretically come back into the game, just like Cloud9 could have theoretically beaten PGG. But, you know, as we all know, that stuff doesn't happen. And really, if we look at the game going further, we'll see that it's just over. The game is legitimately over. Like, bot lane then starts losing because they have no pressure from mid lane or top lane, and they're playing Xayah Rakan into Kai'Sa Nautilus. Like I said, Xayah Rakan cannot win the game or cannot win lane against Kai'Sa or any a real AD carry. Though they do desperately try, I'll give him that. So, yep. They lost the game off of this, by the way. Also, I think Rumble died at some point. I forget when. So it's just game over. It's not even 10 minutes, right? It's almost a 2K gold lead. It's not even 10 minutes, all right? The game is just over. The game is straight up over. Like, I don't know how Xayah has any amount of CS over Kai'Sa. I'm pretty sure Ghost just probably messed up in his CSing, but if Ghost had more CS than Xayah like he should, this would be a 2K gold lead at less than 10 minutes. Point made. Let's look at another game. This is Damwon Kia versus Mad Lions. So Mad Lions have opted in for a very fucking trashy fucking composition. Oh wow, look, it's Victor versus Zoe again. Oh yeah, I forgot. There's also Tristana in the bot lane. Boom. So now I'm wrong. I should apologize for my actions. No, but for real, like it's Kai'Sa, Xayah, Tristana. Sorry, 3 champions instead of 2. It's a change. It's a change in the right directions. In the right direction. Barrel's like set support. I just hate it. I fucking hate it. But you know, it is what it is. Let's look at this game. It's pre 15 minutes, right? It's not even 15 minutes yet. The game should not be over at any time close to this. However, we'll see that through Mad's exquisite positioning, it is. Look, just watch this. Just watch what happens. So at first, Barrel is like, I'm gonna fucking end the game. Mad Lions, hold your fucking seatbelts. I'm coming in. He has no ulti. I don't know what he's doing. He dies. It's fine. It's like, okay, we're good. It's a 5v4. It's a 5v4. We have Shen. Ghost just fucking inted. Let's get him. Oh, he flashed. Okay. How the fuck did we all just end up dying? This should have been a harder one team fight for Damwon Kia. Just think about it. Carzzy got fucking lucky with 1 HP. This could have been a harder one team fight by Damwon Kia. That is enough to show you the fucking world, okay? Mad Lions end up losing the game because of this play. Because they end up losing the Infernal Drake and it's way too fucking much for them. Like, look, it's just sad, man. It's just so fucking over. Like, look. It looks like, oh, Damwon Kia, they're gonna int it, but no, Mad just don't have damage. Like, it's a 3.5, almost 4K gold lead. Like, there's just nothing Dom or Mad Lions can do, right? It's just crazy. So yeah, that's another game that was lost pre-15 minutes. Boom, BGG versus Damwon Kia. This game was lost even before it started, but, you know. Sorry. But yeah, anyway, like, this game was lost. First of all, this game was lost in draft phase. This game was lost when we saw that it will happen, okay? That's when this game was really lost. But this game was really lost, like, actually just, like, it was literally, like, just over, right? Like, there was no way, like, any kind of shred of doubt that we had that maybe PGG can look to take at least one game off of a team that isn't Cloud9. It was lost right here. When Pabu decided to, without a Oracle lens or anything like that, go through the river just casually going into blue side. And being like, yeah, I'm going to fucking take this. Even though I have no prio bot, no prio mid, I'm going to go over here, even though I don't know if there's a ward here. So he's banking on there not being a ward. But let's be real, even if there was an award, they would still know Rumble is in their jungle. So let's see what happens. Rumble's like, okay, I'm going in, boys. I'm going to get that fucking blue buff. Look at him. He's like, yep. And then everybody on Damwon Kia is like, yo, this guy's fucking trolling. Go get him, okay? Like, go fucking get this guy. Like, what is he genuinely doing? Am I playing fucking Diamond 1 solo queue with Barrel again? Okay? Like, am I duo queuing with Barrel right now and I have to play with his shit-ass MMR? Like, what's going on here, okay? And Pablo's like, well, boys, that's it for me. I'm gonna go. So, two things happen here. Rumble is severely behind. He doesn't get the blue buff. He, in fact, doesn't get anything other than his red buff start. Then he has to die, which is going to take even more time away from him. He clogs up the minion wave, which means that his bot laners are going to not be able to just have a wave, right? Because it's going to be pushed into DK, and Xayah, like we've mentioned before, cannot win against Kai'Sa Nautilus, so she doesn't have any way of actually battling for that wave. Yes, bot lane is going to have prio because of this, but that doesn't mean anything. In fact, the only thing it means is that PGG have lost because they don't want prio like that. When you have prio, you want prio by having killed the enemy minions and thus having pressure on the opponent. But when you cannot get to the enemy minions because your jungler decided to run it down in the first 2 minutes of the game. By the way, this game was lost in 2.5 minutes. Fucking go figure, okay? Then it becomes a different story. Right? Like, this just should never happen, man. And okay, sure, you can say, well, it's a wildcard team. You've already talked about how they don't understand how to play the game very well because they don't have enough experience. You know, it happens. Fuck, right? Like, they were trying to do something. They were really banking on there not being a ward there, even though it doesn't matter if there's a ward there. But it doesn't matter. Whatever, right? Like, it's okay. Shit happens, right? It's another example. But the thing is, it is another example. It's another example of the game being lost before 15 minutes, before 10 minutes, right? We're not even talking about just which team against which team here is, because then it would have been lost before the game even started. But the thing is, with this play, the game is over before 5 minutes. Now, let's see a game where the game was not over at 15 minutes, not over at 10. This was one of the more exciting games, in my opinion, this entire tournament. We see a Kog'Maw, which was really good. For some reason, Sven, I think, really choked this game, and this entire tournament, Sven. Don't get me wrong. I don't think Sven was necessarily bad. I just don't think he was his peak self. I don't think Perkz was his peak self. In fact, I do think Perkz was pretty bad. There was a game that I'm going to show later where they coulda, woulda, and shoulda won the game, but he solo inted it. And then, of course, we have Blabber, who just, I don't know why, but I'm guessing it's because of maybe like jitters or rookie nerves or something. Just, he was not looking good at all this tournament. Like, at all, man. This game he was fine, though I would personally not look at the score and look at the Dragons, because I think Dragons were more impactful this game, but that's besides the point. Because they started getting it doesn't matter. Anyway, the thing is, this game was lost at 20 minutes. Okay? And honestly, what I'm going to say is that I'm really fucking sorry for Fudge. I feel really bad for Fudge. I think Fudge has played his fucking heart out this tournament. I think he has been the best performing Cloud9 member. After Fudge, it's definitely Vulcan. Then it's Sven, then it's Perkz, then it's Blabber. I think Fudge has shown that he is a fucking force to be reckoned with. I remember when people or the casters in LCS, all except for Freak, put Fudge as like one of the worst top laners in the region, okay? Everybody except Freak put Fudge as one of the worst top laners in the region. Freak put him second, I think, behind Alfari. Hello. This motherfucker almost literally solo carried your team in their wins. Okay? I am not joking. This guy played fucking phenomenally well in this tournament. His Lee Sin was fucking nutty. His set this game was really fucking good and a force to be fucking reckoned with. You know what I mean? Like, you know that picture of like of Fudge like having a knuckle like a knuckle sandwich, you know, like having fucking bread and shit and his fist between it. It was literally set this game. That was literally set this game. Regardless, this is how they lost the game. Watch what happens. So, PSG are like, okay, we're going to start Baron because we're trying to get Cloud9 to fucking come at us. Okay? Cloud9 sees that there's no way PSG are going to do Baron. They don't know where Maple is. That is crucial here. What is Blabber doing here? Can somebody tell me what Blabber is doing here? You cannot fight this, my man. You do not possess the ability to fight this. Especially not like this. Look at the positioning of your fellow players. Look at the positioning of Sven. Look at Perks. Look at Vulcan. Look at Fudge. Primarily look at Fudge. Your carry this game. He's not there. You, my friend, are isolated. What the fuck are you doing? Here comes Maple. The rest of C9 needs to fuck off. The rest of C9 needs to fuck off as far as they can. Blabber dies. It's over. Just get the fuck out. They take Baron. It doesn't matter. Just get the fuck out. Do not let them have more. No. C9 say fuck that. And I can see. I don't want to be speculating here, but it feels like Fudge almost had this like point of realization that they should not fight this as he stood here in this bush waiting. Like, look at this. He just sits there. He's like, ah, fuck, dude. You know what I mean? And then, of course, Blabber just like look at what Blabber is doing. So Blabber is fucked. There is no way Blabber gets out. Q connects on you, Blabber. E connects on you, Blabber. His Q connects on you. Lee connects on you. You know what I mean? Why the fuck are you flashing into your team? Even if that hadn't been the case, even if Lee Sin had not connected his Q onto you, you cannot get out. Never in your entire life, unless you fucking break your goddamn ankles. Fudge is just like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, just like, fuck, I gotta get them off. But it's way too late. And it's not his fault, don't get me wrong, it's not his fault. He does everything in his fucking power, it's just, he can't do anything. Like, look at this fucking beast of a man. I don't think he needed to flash here. I think he could have killed Hanabi if he hadn't, but I don't think it matters either. It's really unfortunate that Hanabi actually doesn't die here. But regardless, it's just fucking over, dude. It's just fucking over. In fact, if Hanabi had died there, I think they can't do Baron, by the way. I genuinely think so. I don't think they were able to do Baron regardless. I'm not sure, though. Yeah, they were. Never mind. Okay. I was thinking of another game. Okay, so they do Baron, and the game is just over here. Okay, it's just fucking over here. Like, the Baron propels them into a 3k gold lead, and it's just done, right? Like, there's nothing that Cloud9 can do at this point, and it's all off the back of Fudge. And now, Blabber. What the fuck? Like, I really don't want to pinpoint losses on a specific player because, of course, that's going to get their fucking mental down and shit like that. But Cloud9 is already out of the tournament. So, just, you know, they're going to get back to LCS. They're going to dominate it again because they're actually fucking nutty. And it's all going to be good, right? But, man, was I disappointed. I was really fucking disappointed. Like, this game looked like Blabber was going to take over the wheel and finally do something. But he just fucking ints it at the last possible second. It was just really disheartening to watch. And Sven just really looked kind of lost as well. I don't know. You know, shit happens, I guess. Fuck, right? And then it's just over at the 4th Drake. There's just nothing, right? Like, yes, you stole the Drake, but it literally doesn't matter. You lose the team fight, it doesn't matter. Like, the Drake, like, the thing is, the Drake doesn't matter. What matters is that you lost Baron, you got aced, and it's over. The game is over. That's the thing. There's really low comeback insurance currently in the game, which makes games much less exciting to watch. Which is one of my points where it's like, you know, like, it's kind of fucking trash to watch games constantly where there is no comeback insurance. There's no way for a team to come back. Like, you remember, I don't know if any of you have watched it, but like I remember when SKT were like losing against EDG. They had like a EDG had like a 10k gold lead over them, and then they made this like the sickest play I've ever fucking seen. This like Vombo combo that just absolutely fucking destroyed EDG. But that really doesn't exist anymore. It's like specifically due to how dragons work. But like, and I don't hate it because a team shouldn't be punished for winning. But when teams make mistakes, if they're ahead, they should be punished for it, you know, which currently a lot of them aren't. And I honestly couldn't tell you if that's because the team that's losing can't punish them or because they don't know how. And so that's my problem with this entire conversation. However, it still remains the fact that like pre 15 the game is lost pre 15 pre 10 minutes, right? Which makes the games incredibly boring to watch when you usually already even know the outcome of the game anyway, right? Because you already know Damwon, Key, and RNG are gonna win. You already know Mad Lions is gonna go through. We can already see the Cloud9 ain't fucking making it, right? And we can see that PSG is a good team, which means that, you know, they're gonna go through. And then you're watching the other games, and then at the end, there's like Cloud9 might be able to make it, and then Mad Lions beat RNG, and then there's like 3 or 4 games left, and it's like, what the fuck? I'm not gonna watch this. It literally doesn't mean anything. Like, I don't want to watch this. It doesn't fucking matter. The games don't matter. They just don't. They're absolutely worthless to watch because there's no gravity behind them. You know what I mean? Like, there's no fucking reason to watch games that have no meaning. It's why in the LEC there was like a time where like, you know, they would play like Master Yi, KO, Nunu, right? Like, but that was kind of fun to watch, right? Like, it was kind of fun to see these fucking people dick around and shit, right? But you can't really do that in MSI. Regardless, let us look at the draft problem, which I have kind of went into detail on a tangent a couple of times in this video. But like I said, same champions being picked. It's Victor, Lucian, it's fucking Oriana if she's not banned, which usually is. Usually is. Holy fuck, I can't speak today. And then it's, what did I say? Zoe. And then jungle, it's Morgana, Udyr, Rumble, right? Like that. Those are the 3 picks. Then it's like Leona, Nautilus, Thresh, sometimes Set, though very rarely, and it's usually just Barrow that plays it. Rel, of course, you know, so it has kind of like some variants. Top lane has the most variants, and then ADC is just Kaisa, Zaya, Tristana every single game, right? And then you have Kog'Maw and you have Varus sometimes, if Varus isn't banned, which usually is. So, let us look at a good draft, in my opinion. These, I think, all had pretty fucking shitty drafts. Even though, yes, you're looking at Cloud and you're like, but there's Kog'Maw Lulu there. Yes, I fucking love Kog'Maw Lulu. But the thing is, Victor, no reason to have him. Udyr, it's fine, but, you know, there could have been some better stuff. Set, honestly, isn't Fudge's fault. I'm sorry. Set is fine. It's just, it isn't Fudge's fault, man. It just isn't, straight up. So let's look at a draft I really like. And a game that also wasn't decided, which is really, really neat. Because the thing is, a lot of games that weren't decided pre-15 minutes were games against Cloud9. Which is really funny to me, because it's like, they played against PSG, they played against Damwon, Kia, they played against RNG, and they weren't decided pre-15 minutes. A lot of the times they were decided, they were like, it was either pre-5 minutes or it wasn't decided until 20, okay? There was no fucking in between. Either Blabber instant Scuttle Crab immediately and you just lose the game, or you have to fucking fight tooth and nail until 20 minutes to see who wins, okay? And that's where we get into this draft. Now, strap yourselves in. I know I haven't done the video that I said I was going to do on fasting setup. That was mostly because I didn't have internet, and I'm going to get to it. I swear I'm going to make that video at some point this month. Or, yeah, probably this month. Hopefully this month. Just, please don't cut my internet again. I'm going to die. But yeah, so let's get into this draft. I think this is a good draft. I think this is a cool draft. The only thing that I dislike here is Sion, Lucian, and I don't entirely hate the Syndra pick, but I kind of dislike it. So let us look at this. What's the deal with this draft? The deal with this draft is we have an Enchanter composition that's centering around Ashe and Lucian versus a Fasting Senna composition that's, you guessed it, centering around Senna. Now, there is a reason why Syndra is picked in this composition and why Sion is also picked in this composition. And I'm going to tell you the reason right now. The reason is the exact reason that Cloud9 were able to lose this game, which was you put Syndra into Senna's little mist, her E, and then Syndra can just nuke you with her stun from somewhere, and you wouldn't even notice it because you can't see her until she actually hits you. Then Sion is the exact same reason, because he's just kind of chilling in the mist and he goes like, you know, Sion goes and then just fucking slams into your team. It's like, oop, fuck my life, dude. Okay, like that's basically what Sion is. That's the same reason why Rumble is good with Senna and why I really like this composition. Because I think Rumble is good with Senna because you don't see Rumble and then suddenly you're fucking missing 30% of your HP because Rumble's 20-second ulti just is very balanced. Right? Right, Riot? Right? No, it's not very balanced. I think this fucking champion is so annoyingly bad. And by annoyingly... Oh! Sorry about that. My fucking mic fell. And the reason why it's annoyingly bad isn't because it's genuinely a bad champion. It's just because it's so fucking poorly designed, man. Like, the buff was so not needed. Like, they buffed the thing that was supposed to be his primary and, like, kind of only weakness. And then on top of buffing his weakness, they buffed his strengths, right? And they buffed his damage and everything. So, I think that was kind of a trash decision. But yeah, so let's look at the fucking draft here. I'm not gonna go and analyze the draft from the beginning because I think this is a long video as is, right? And this is mainly a conversation about, you know, why I feel like MSI is underwhelming. But just for the shits and giggles, let's go into it. So you have Karma, you have Lulu, and you have Ashe. This is your primary fucking this is your primary composition, right? Yes, you have the Lucian as well, but your primary idea is that you have two enchanters and a ADC. And an ADC that can auto attack very rapidly, which is your Ashe, right? Because she doesn't actually use a lot of abilities like Lucian. She uses her auto attack, she uses her Q, she uses her W. Her Q is literally just a fucking auto attack amplifier, right? Her ulti is just basically an auto attack amplifier because you're trying to stun the enemy champions, or you're trying to start up something. Lucian, I don't think fits into this composition. I really hate the Lucian pick. However, Perks has shown that this isn't that terrible of a pick here. And then with not showing that, because he went like 5-0, he then proceeded to literally int the rest of the game. There was a point where he like eat into a wall and then had to flash over it and then died anyway because, you know, because he fucked up. And then they basically ended up losing after that. But mostly the reason why they lost is because I think this game in particular showed why composition is really important and how a composition can make the game interesting. Because you can see two compositions here. You can see a Fasting Senna comp and an enchanter for like basically like Savior ADC comp, which in this case is Ashe. And you can see the differences and the different strengths and bonuses of each. And once DK started coming back into the game by having Perks int, it was over because Senna was starting to ramp up. And when Senna was starting to ramp up, she got cockier, she got confident, and then Syndra could easily just come at you and just destroy your Lulu and destroy your Karma because now she's actually powerful because, you know, you lost a team fight. And you have two squishies, right? And of course, I'm not gonna lie, Blabber was kind of out jungled this game, but I don't think it matters. Like, this game, it wasn't Blabber's fault. I'll tell you that much. It just wasn't Blabber's fault. It was mostly Perks' fault. Perks' and Sven's, in my opinion. But yeah. So, but this was like an interesting game to watch. If you're a viewer, it doesn't matter if you don't know anything about draft. You watch these games, and it's actually genuinely fun. Because it's a constant back and forth. It's not like a stomp. It's not like a boring, you wait 30 minutes and then somebody wins. No, it was a constant back and forth. It was Cloud9 fighting, 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 getting everything on the map. And then it was DK coming back and just pushing and pushing. And then Cloud9 was fighting back. And then, boom, Showmaker shows up huge. And it's like over, right? So that's the thing, is that it's really fun to watch. But this is an isolated case. It is not. This is very rare, and I think it's literally the only fucking game at this MSI that I had genuine fun watching. Genuine fun. Like, I was genuinely entertained, and I genuinely loved watching this game. I was tense. I was on my, like, kind of like the edge of my seat, as well as I'm lying actually. It was also Cloud9 versus RNG, where fucking, or I think it was RNG, where Fudge just carried the entire game with a fucking kick. It was incredible. But yeah, like, those are super fun, and I think it's really weird because I'm not North American. I'm not American or at all or anything like that. Cloud9 is my favorite team from the LCS. Has been for like, wow, holy shit! I've been watching this game for like 7 years at this point. They have been my favorite team for like 6 years or something, crazy like that. Maybe even longer, like ever since, like, because I remember I watched them when it was like Balls, Media's High, Sneaky Elimination. Like, fuck, dude. But yeah, regardless, it's really interesting that, like, the most entertaining games are usually made by Cloud9. I'm not sure why that is, but it usually is. I don't know which other game I've seen that was like very interesting. It was like a constant like entertainment and like kind of like a good draft as well, a good solid draft. Because here, I think if Damwon Kia didn't draft Fasting Senna, like, I think Damwon Kia would have lost 100%. Like, I think the only way you beat this composition is if you have another good composition. If they had like a standard composition with, like, Scion, Rumble, I don't know, Victor, and then they had in the bot lane they had Kaisa and Nautilus, right? Which, yes, I realize these were banned. I'm just saying, or like Zaya Rakan, because those weren't banned. Then I think Cloud9 would have won 100%. But yeah, it just came down to like who was the better team and who could push that lead, and Damwon Kia ended up showing that they were the ones to do so. So this is just kind of like a talking thing. Like, I just wanted to rant a little bit about why MSI feels so underwhelming, and like I know a lot of people have been saying, and like I've been talking to a lot of people, and they're like, I don't know why, but it's just MSI just feels really underwhelming. Like, I can't say why. Like, I've been entertained by some games, but like I just feel bored. Like, this is the reason, most likely. These like three things are probably the reason. The formatting is awful, the drafting is stale and boring, and the gameplay is really not that much when you consider the fact that games end at like 10 minutes or 15, like pre-15 minutes basically. Like, every game is almost over pre-15 minutes, and it's really annoying to watch. It's really boring and it's really stale. It becomes something not fun and more like you're watching it just to do something, right? Because you're waiting for the next game, and then the next game, it's like it's over at like 5 minutes because Blabber decides that he really needs that scuttle crab, and then they lose that game, and it's like you're watching it just like, oh, but what if, but what if, but the thing is, what ifs are great, and like it's cool when, like, for example, the game is, you deem the game over at 10 minutes because like the enemy team has already aced you, and then the team comes back somehow. But the thing is, it's really fucking hard to come back in this meta, right? In this specific tournament as well, it's really hard to come back when you're playing against such like dominant like choke teams. And what I mean by choke teams is, I don't mean they choke. I mean choke teams like the ones that choke you, like they choke you out, right? Like, even if you are able to start getting an advantage, you're gonna be choked out, right? Like, you're not gonna be able to kind of peer through the darkness to see the light in a game where you're constantly being bombarded by fucking smoke, right? But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you understand what I mean. I hope my points weren't too convoluted and too complex or some stupid shit like that. That's kind of sounds like egotistical almost, but like, I mean, like, in the sense that I didn't like go too deep into it and just read way deeper than it, it really is. It's like, okay, dude, it's just boring. I get it, man. Like, you didn't have to make like a fucking 40-minute video on this, or however long this is. I have no fucking clue. I wouldn't be surprised if this was an hour-long video, but whatever. So yeah, I hope that you liked it. I hope you understand what I mean. And yeah, I'm gonna be making more videos, and I do have some other videos that talk more about general esport kind of information and education on my channel. But yeah, if you liked it, like it. If you didn't like it, please do feel free to dislike it. If you have anything to add or say, please do put it in the comments below. I might start streaming soon, so if you're interested in something like watching me just fuck around in either League of Legends or whatever fucking game I end up playing, you can follow me on Twitch. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you for watching, and I'm out.